Oh, man. Mike McDaniel speaking to the media this week, talking about that loss. Of course, that was tough on Monday Night Football, tough to relive on Hard Knocks. But, he said, look, there's no way to spin it. You collapse like that in a way no team has in 7 seasons. That's really bad.
There's some really bad stuff. Really bad stuff. Like, you get in a situation where you're the first team to lose a game up by 14 in the last 3 to 4 minutes since like 2017. Yeah, that's what it is. And you don't run away from it. You don't say, everything's all good. No, the point of this game, which you're trying to accomplish things that are very hard that everyone else is trying to accomplish, is you have to be willing to look at the hard things and make sure they don't define you. Make sure that you utilize that opportunity. That adversity is real, and it either is what you are or what is the reason you become something else.
What are you doing, Leroy? Why do you look like you're dismissing the coach?
Because I'd like to add to that. They did not give up 14 or 15 points in the last 4 minutes of the game. They gave that up in 2 minutes. Keep in mind,
there was 2 minutes left.
There was 2 minutes left. He making it sound like they pulled out a squeaker at the end of the game. No, they scored 15 points in 2 minutes.
I don't understand it. I'm still
like it's baffling how they could score that many points and you get the ball with plenty of time to go down the field.
You basically
and guess what they did? Put pressure on the quarterback. Why didn't we?
Crazy. Fangs has some explaining to do. He does. It's been all rose petals and champagne for Fangs for weeks. Now you got to explain yourself, Fangs. I don't know what the hell went on there, but Mike McDaniel says we did not meet our goal of playing the best football in December.
We've said a ton. We want to play our best football in December. That game was in December, and that was not our best football.
Fair point.
Well, we have 2 to 3 more games in December than one in January promised to us. Well, we better utilize all the things that we absolutely do not want to relive in the other games. Then it's purposeful. Then it's not, you're not defined as that. You've used it to define who you're going to be. And that's, it's not easy, but who said anything that any of our goals are easy?
All right, dude. It became a Hallmark card at the end there. Like, what?
Dude,
he said,
I don't need, I'm going to tell you like this. When I have my surgery, I don't want to need an anesthesiologist.
Just listen to Mike McDaniel.
I just send me about 5 to 6 Mike McDaniel cuts. I'm like, how quick y'all need me out? All right, play number 2.
He's gonna have a lot of words to explain what happened. I mean, like, you got to think about that guy. How much this has been probably bouncing around his head, which already says a lot of stuff. Then you have something that hasn't happened to a team in 7 seasons. And you're going to be thinking about that situation for a long time and have a lot of words on it.
Here's the problem. The thing that I appreciate about Mike McDaniel is this. He goes out of his way to make it a group thing and not an individual thing. He goes out of his way to keep everybody in the right frame of mind to recover from something like this, right? Like, a coach could come in there and be pissed off and all the fans will feel better because it's like, oh, the coach is showing emotion and he cares and all that. But what happens next? And Mike is always about what happens next. And let's not lose 2 games in 1 week.
Right.
Right. And so I appreciate that because, although he does ramble and he tries to, you can clearly see what he's attempting to do. And from what you hear him say, if you talk to any of the players, it doesn't alter it. It's not much different than what he's telling them.
Well, I
because
think
that's how he does things.
the thing is when you lose games to teams that are good teams, when like it's always been said, oh, the Dolphins have been a good team. True. But I think the thing that you benefit from is I don't think the Dolphins got the doors blown off them. I think that they probably said, okay, that was a good measuring stick game. There's nothing to take from the Titans loss. You were awful all the way around.
Other than we
don't
really
do that.
watched it.
Yeah. Like there's no lessons there other than that better not happen again this week, because it was a 0.03% chance of happening, and you blew it like that. And also you didn't play good football up until that point really anyway, especially offensively. And then to add on top of that, okay, you get gifts from the Titans to defeat. And then all of a sudden you collapse defensively?
Right. I think the worst part of that is that whether you win or loss, I think some of our comments would have been the same because they played really poorly. But it makes it that much worse with a loss.
Absolutely.
Right? We would be having the same comments. What the hell are you guys? What are we doing? Right? Like, come on, offensively. Like, you can't let one type of defense shut you down like that. I've said this all year. It's the same defense. It's the same game plan that shuts them down every time they get shut down like that. And all they're doing is this. Here's all the defenses are doing. Let's make Tua pat the ball one time. That's it. You putting all them guys in the middle of the field because you want Tua to look up, read the defense, and then pat the ball one time. You pat the ball one time, you go from 2.3 seconds to 3 seconds. Now you can get to him.
Joe says, Coach McDaniel wants the players to learn, but when is he going to stop doing all this trickeration and just run the football?
Thank you. Thank you. Hey. Sound like something I would say. You know what I'm saying? Is he? He's not wrong.
I like the trickeration. I like motion.
Listen.
I like when Tyreek does that little crouching thing.
You need to learn, like everybody else. The most important thing is to win the game.
I don't want to be like everybody else.
But okay, so there, trickeration. Where did that get you? -5. So, at what point are you going to say, "Hey, let's put that in the back pocket"? I like it, but it's not for right now.
I just want him to stop the fade, like to Tyreek Hill. That's
you
the
can't
one
throw a fade to a garden gnome.
Doesn't make sense. I don't like that play.
Everybody throws fades with tall dudes, tight ends, big guys.
How does just Chase Claypool? Does he stink that bad? Like he just has to be tall. Put him out there and be tall in the end zone.
The tallest receiver other than Chase is Craycraft.
I think so. Yeah. Which, by the way, I mean, I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't think I'm going to bet anytime Craycraft touchdown this weekend. I'm going to be really mad if this is the first time Craycraft catches a touchdown.
Oh, if he catches a touchdown?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be so mad.
Here's one more from McDaniel. Says he's not emotional and he's excited to get better from this.
I wouldn't say emotional. I'm excited for the work in front of us. So I guess I'm convicted that if it's coming across as emotion, I'm just generally an emotional guy. But there's conviction in what I see from that tape from the game yesterday, and I think that it's as clear as day to me on what needs to be done with regard to handling something like a disappointment like that. I don't think the biggest thing is we have you have to work through all that stuff, get better from it, then focus on the Jets, and it is that simple and easy, but very hard to do in practice, and that's kind of the direction I'm going. If you're going to ask me not to be emotional, you're going to have to ask me not to be me any day, because you could get, I mean, you've been there. You say the right topic, and I'll go to half tears in a heartbeat. It's not a big deal. So, no, I'm pumped for the work week and the gains that our team can make.
I mean, look,
You ever notice?
Half tears.
He talks so much. There's never any follow-ups.
Dude, I was cutting his sound yesterday, Leroy. He had his answer to what was his message to the team was 5 minutes uninterrupted. I was like,
How many
a lot. And I think I got like 4 cuts out of that answer.
Yo, how do you talk to his wife, yo?
I don't know, dude.
Like, I'm seriously trying to figure out, like, how did he talk to his beautiful? I saw Hard Knocks, the beautiful interaction with his daughter. She's adorable. But in an argument with the missus, there's no way the missus is winning. Because he's gonna take 5 minutes to explain his answer. She's gonna be annoyed by it and that's like, forget it.
Depends if he's a smart husband and if he just lets it be.
Hey,
You know?
I don't think he's a smart husband, but I don't think he can let things be.
yeah, he got he's
got to explain himself.
He gonna talk it to death, right?
Yeah, he's got to explain
Can't
himself.
let it go.
Well, he was explaining, didn't he say something like my wife is the Jedi master of something with our marriage? Like, so she probably has all the tricks.
He has to.
She knows how to probably distract him very easily.
Really?
Yeah. Probably with motion.
Naked motion.
Point for
Let's take a quick break.
Hey, look, strength is left. Strength is left. He start yelling out defensive signals. She run by.
Point for Leroy.
Well, you guys can take some of your money. Go to the Evan Watts Golf Shop. Some of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Serving golfers around the country since 1968. Miami Dolphins, of course, going to get back at it today. They're getting ready for the New York Jets. I wanted to play this. This was a Javon Holland. He was on Hockman and Crowder. Does the Javon Holland show every single Tuesday. And he was explaining where he's at with his injuries right now and says he is dealing with 2 sprained MCLs. Here is the Dolphins.
What is your status for Sunday? How are you feeling? And what is the nature of your injury?
Yeah, so it's 2 sprained MCLs. It's taking longer than I thought it was, but this is like my first like legitimate injury that I've had in my career. I've been blessed to evade like serious injuries. So, it's a long process, man. It's ligaments. It's not muscles and anything like that. So it's taking a while. I'm day to day, just slowly improving. I was running last week, so I'm getting there. And I'm optimistic about this week. I am really excited because I do have a chance to come back. And but yeah, I'm fighting to get back as soon as possible, especially because we're taking on a lot of injuries, especially in the secondary. So I want to be able to help as much as possible in games that we need, especially in December. So yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
There you go. Javon Holland with Hockman and Crowder earlier in the week. Is that like a thing, Leroy? Do you ever feel more pressure coming back if more guys are getting banged up? They're going to press you to do what you can to get back?
I played with like one of the hardest games I had to make through was I broke ribs. And when I was in Minnesota, my thing was, Rob will go miss a couple of games. You got to be ready to go for those games. I got hurt and Robbie got hurt. So I'm like, ugh. And here's what sucks. You knew how long his injury was going to be because he had to have the abdomen. He had one of those sports hernias, right? So you knew that was going to be a minute. And I'm sitting here like with ribs, and really it's not, there's really no set time. Sometimes your ribs can like kind of start healing to where they, you get that deposit to where they heal a little bit quicker. If you keep still, they'll heal right instead of crooked, right? So I was like, man, I got to come back because this is my thing. This is why I'm here. So I came back, I think I broke like 3 ribs and I came back. I couldn't even hardly breathe the first week, but then I came back the next week, and I got to tell you, that was tough. There wasn't enough medicine in the world to take away that pain.
Jeez. Mike McDaniel at the podium now. He says that they kind of are cramming everything into today because it was a short week. They didn't actually practice yesterday. They're going to do, I guess, multiple walkthroughs today, and says that some guys may be out there, but they wouldn't if it was real practice. They wouldn't be out there. But obviously they have a ton of injuries. We listed them all off.
It's walk through, and here's the thing that you deal with. There's a fine line between trying to get everybody caught up with the game plan and getting somebody new ready for the game plan, right? So if you don't know if a guy's going to play, how much work do you get his backup?
Yeah.
Because if he can play, if he hadn't done the preparation, then you're really in trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
So it becomes a difficult thing when you're really unsure who's going to play. I would say, just based on what I've seen, right, Tyreek will play. Because there ain't enough adrenaline in the world if you roll your ankle enough to where you're going to be able to run like he was running. You see what I'm saying? So I would believe Leroy.
Al Macco says
here's the worst part. What's the worst part about that statement?
That is accurate.
Full rack?
Yeah, he had to put full rack on the end.
If it's Flanagan's, easy.
Hey, so yeah. You know what? Because I make a very good rib. I've been known to get it going with the rib game. I find it hard. I'm too critical when I go to a restaurant and eat ribs. I can't do it. So I'd rather not. There's a couple of spots that have some nice ribs, but they charge an arm and a leg for a rack of ribs. I'm like, goodness.
The only thing that could stop Leroy from football is food.
Oh,
I was ready. Like he was about to give a good Tyreek take, and then all of a sudden he saw ribs.
His ribs are good though. I've had his ribs. The ribs are good.
I'm listening. If you're listening to fantasy, fantasy research during fantasy playoffs, you want to make a bet on the Dolphins in this game.
Yep.
You're listening to Leroy, former player, knows about these type of injuries. He's talking, and all of a sudden, boom,
tension goes elsewhere.
Yeah.
When it goes to food, tension goes to the food.
We'll bring it back.
Who doesn't like a good nice rack of ribs?
Absolutely. We'll get back into Tyreek here. Here was Mike McDaniel earlier in the week. He was asked about the idea: has the team become too Tyreek Hill centric on offense? Here's what he had to say to that.
I think that is kind of inherent, at least for me as a play caller, as you're trying to distribute the ball. There are times where there's a glutton of opportunities that go Tyreek's way. Generally, that's momentum based. But there's we're collectively we're strongest when you have to worry about everyone. So there's always that type of mindset and wanting to involve people. And then, you just don't fight how the game presents a lot of times. And when he's a hot hand, just like when Jalen's a hot hand, similar things happen. I know there's I can't remember which week it was. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago against Vegas, but people attributed Tyreek being out to Waddle getting successive targets. It really wasn't the case. It was that you're paying attention as a play caller to what's happening on the field with a clear mind, with an idea of what you're going to go to. But then when people noticeably you can feel the momentum of a certain moment or a drive or whatever, you try to empower the offense by getting the ball in those guys' hands.
I mean,
right. No. I got this.
Okay.
There's a solution for this. And I was privy to one of these solutions. And that is that you make Tyreek and Waddle interchangeable. So that means that you run the same plays, flip their positions and their responsibilities, and it makes it much more difficult to focus on one guy. So if you see when Tyreek squats down behind the
crouching cheetah
tackle and just take off, Waddle can do that. So you just do that so that if one of them happens to be out, and you put, say, HN in one of those positions, they still aren't sure who's doing what.
I was curious though, because there's been talk about how much Tyreek took investment into the offense this year. Is it just possible that he just trusts Tyreek a lot more with knowing a lot more and putting a lot more on his plate than he does with Jalen and HN?
Here's the most important thing, okay? The reason why Tyreek Hill gets the ball all the time, because his ass is always open.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't like he's throwing it into triple coverage with Tyreek. All them touchdowns, when he going down the field, they managed to get him in one-on-one situations, and he was open 5 yards down the field. You got to throw it.
He's always going to be the best option.
Right. And so from that standpoint, and let's not make it sound like other teams don't do the same thing. Well, they only threw it to D-Hop. Right? There was a couple other guys caught some balls, but when it was go time, they threw it to D-Hop.
Yeah, I think it's just people expected with this that the passing game without Tyreek would still be okay with Jalen Waddle, because I think people think a lot of Jalen Waddle.
Right.
But you're watching a guy on a historic pace right now. You're watching an insanity every week with Tyreek.
But again, what you have to do is you have to learn how to interchange them to some extent, to where it could be just a simple run play, right? Or a simple end around, and you switch Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and that defense, that blows their mind, because here's how defenses learn plays. They learn plays when the wide receiver lines up here, here's the routes he's going to run. When he lines up here, here's what he's going to do, and here's what he's going to do. And they defend based on that. If you switch them, right, they're not going to put the same rules to the other guy that's in the same position. They're going to look at Tyreek and see what Tyreek is doing and go towards him. So it creates opportunities just on the sheer fact that you switched two guys and ran the same damn play. To the defense, that looks like a different play.
Sergey Bob over 5 Oski just says McFraud.
No, here.
All of a sudden,
let me tell you,
no longer a guru. People are rats off the ship, dude.
But here's the deal. Coaches get caught up in when things are working, you don't see past them not working, right? Whatever Tyreek has done, it's been working. There's really no need to change it, right? Because it's been working.
This has been one of the things that has been revealed. And I know it maybe seemed obvious, but it's been revealed on Hard Knocks. There's a different pep in his step, and they've put this on Mike when he calls stuff for Tyreek. There is it's a toy that he loves to use in a lot of different ways, and it unlocks a lot of stuff because he's motion boy. He loves things in motion. They by far the biggest percentage of motion in the league, and it freaks defenses out. As you said, defenses are dumb, and he loves instituting that with his offense. And so he said this with Tyreek coming back from the injury. It was caught. He goes, well, he was on Mike. That changes things.
Yeah, but it changes things because of the player. It shouldn't change things because of your offense. You still have enough speed and enough talent in your skill positions to pull a lot of those quick motions, fast guys getting down the field. And I think when things are working really well, and this is what I've seen so far with the Dolphins this year, they're going at a good clip. They're scoring a bunch of points. Everybody's getting open. Things are working. Then you face a team that says, we're not going to allow you to do this. And the offense gets caught off guard. And my whole thing is, how many teams are going to play this defense on you and take away the middle of the field before you have some adjustments, right? Because it's the same style. If you go back to every game they've lost, here's what they do. They take away Tua's first option, he pats the ball, and then the rush gets there, right? And one of the things that works with this offense is that he can get rid of the ball so quick, so the offensive line doesn't get exposed. Now, when they close up the middle of the field and Tua pats it, every time you see him pat it, you go, uh-oh, right? Because he's unsure of where to go with it because they took away that option. You have to have some alternate offense, some different plays that exposes a different area of the field. The other thing you have to do when they play those two deep safeties like that and want to drop those linebackers deep like that, you got to have a run game. They were running the ball pretty good.
Well, they've had a great run game.
And so what you got to do is as a coach, swallow your pride and say, we just going to keep running it, and we're going to run it in different ways until they bring one of those safeties up. Then we'll revisit what we do.
Take a quick break.